I want you to close your eyes for a second. Let's go back. It's 1996. You're sitting in the backseat of your parents' car. Maybe you're hiding under the covers with a flashlight.
Way past your bedtime.
Way past your bedtime. And you're holding that gray brick of a Game Boy. The battery light is just flickering red, but you can't stop. You're hearing those 8-bit chiptunes walking through tall grass trying to catch them all.
It's such a specific kind of nostalgia, isn't it? The world felt simple. You have a map, a mission, and if you just train hard enough, you win. It was all linear.
It was safe. But, and this is where things take a really sharp left turn, imagine taking that exact same map, Kanto, Pallet Town, all the gym leaders, and just flipping the script completely.
What if that journey wasn't about catching cute monsters,
but about surviving real ones?
It creates this fascinating dissonance. And that is exactly what we're unpacking today. We're looking at a 2026 concept album called Trainer ID by the artist Ti-Fi.
Yeah, and this is not just a tribute album. It's not some fan fiction set to a lo-fi beat. Ti-Fi has created this incredible kind of glitchy hip-hop experience that reimagines the whole game's map as a roadmap for trauma recovery.
Specifically for surviving sexual assault and leaving the sex work industry. I mean, it is heavy subject matter for sure.
It is.
But what's so brilliant about Trainer ID is how it uses the language of the game to make these incredibly difficult, abstract psychological states feel concrete.
Right. Like using gym leaders or hidden machines or even game glitches and turning them into metaphors that actually make sense of the chaos.
Exactly.
So our mission today is to walk through this map track by track. We've got the lyrics, the soundscapes, and the artist's own writer's room breakdown to guide us. We're going to see how Pallet Town becomes a crime scene.
And why the game doesn't actually end when the credits roll.
Right.
We're going to see that leveling up isn't always about getting stronger. Sometimes it's just about surviving the round.
Okay, so let's start where every game starts, the beginning. In the game, you wake up in your bedroom, you head out, and Professor Oak stops you. It's dangerous in the tall grass.
Right. He gives you a Pokemon, and you're off on this grand adventure. But in the first track, Wake Up, that opening scene, it just hits very differently.
It's jarring.
Yeah. Ti-Fi describes the screen as gray, says the colors are gone. This is the inciting incident. Waking up isn't about starting a game. It's the immediate aftermath of an assault. The tall grass is no longer an adventure.
It's a world that was safe yesterday and suddenly feels terrifying.
And Professor Oak, he's usually this kindly grandfather figure.
But here he's reframed completely.
In Trainer ID, Oak represents the clinical, the legal intervention, the police, the intake nurses. The artist talks about being dragged to the lab under these bright lights, and then you have to think about the Pokedex.
The little red computer.
Yeah.
The encyclopedia, you want to fill it up with data.
Right. But in this album, that whole collection aspect becomes horrific. Ti-Fi calls it a catalog of every monster. It represents the clinical list of giving a statement or a rape kit.
Wow.
Think about it. You're forced to catalog the monster, describe it, measure it, weigh it. You stop being a person and you start being a database of evidence. Your own memory becomes a crime scene file.
That puts a chill down my spine. The lyrics say, identify the species, tell us how you feel. It turns discovery into scrutiny. And then, of course, you have to choose your starter.
Charmander, Squirtle, or Bulbasaur. And this is one of the most poignant metaphors. In the game, you pick an elemental type. Here, choosing a starter is framed as choosing a single coping mechanism to survive that initial storm.
Like choosing a weapon.
More like a shield. The lyrics mention choosing the fire to keep me warm. It's about finding one anchor. Maybe it's anger, which is fire, or maybe it's withdrawal, like grass. You just grab onto one thing to survive stepping out the door.
So you leave Pallet Town, you have your one coping mechanism, and you hit the first real obstacle, Pewter City. But first, you have to get through Viridian Forest.
Which, if you remember playing, is just annoying. It's a maze full of bugs, and it slows you down.
And in the track, Hard as Rock, Ti-Fi compares that forest to bureaucracy.
The red tape. It's the exhausting process of victim services, insurance paperwork, all of it. The lyrics describe crawling in the paperwork tangled in my hair.
It captures that feeling of trying to navigate this illogical system when you're barely functioning. You just want to get to the next town, but you keep getting stopped by bugs.
And waiting at the end of that maze is Brock, the rock-type gym leader. Now, when you think rock-type, you think strength, power, right?
Yeah, crushing things. So wouldn't beating him represent fighting back?
You'd think so, but look at the actual game mechanics. The early rock Pokemon are slow. They have high defense, not high attack. Ti-Fi focuses on a move called Bide.
Oh, I remember Bide. You just stand there and take hits for 2 turns, and then you unleash all that energy.
Exactly. And you have metapods that only know harden. The artist is describing the freeze response. In trauma theory, you have fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. This is pure freeze.
You're not throwing punches.
You're standing there, taking damage, and just waiting for it to be over. You turn to stone.
So the Boulder Badge, it's not a trophy for winning a fight.
No, it's a token of endurance. You earn it by being statue still and just surviving the week without shattering.
But you can't stay a statue forever. The pressure has to go somewhere. And that takes us to Cerulean City. The track, drip.
And this is where we get into dissociation. And Ti-Fi uses a very deep cut from Pokemon lore here.
Bill, the guy who lives in the cottage north of the city.
Yes. For those who didn't play, Bill accidentally teleports himself into a Pokemon's body. So when you find him, he looks like a monster, but he speaks like a human. He's a man inside a beast.
That is actually really terrifying now that I think about it.
For Ti-Fi, this is the perfect metaphor for dissociation. That sensation of separating your mind from your body to survive something unthinkable. You feel like a pilot in a mech suit, a glitch in the simulation.
The lyrics talk about needing to separate the body from the mind because the body isn't safe anymore.
It's that feeling of looking down at yourself from the ceiling.
I am not the Pokemon, I am the trainer.
Wow. That line is really powerful. It sounds like a reclamation of identity.
It is. It's recognizing you are not the trauma. You are the observer. But here's the catch. Once you fix the machine, once you separate those wires, the emotion comes back. And that's Misty.
The water type leader. The dam breaks.
The hydro pump. It's the floodgates opening after the numbness of the rock phase. It's messy. It's overwhelming. But the artist says the tears are a weapon. You have to wash the bridge clean.
Okay, so we've frozen, we've dissociated, and we've cried it out. But now we're moving into Vermilion City, and the vibe changes completely. The track is static in the wire, and listening to it just made me anxious. The beat is so jittery. That's intentional. Vermilion City is home to El Teat Surge. He's the Lightning American, a war veteran who has literally set up electric fences in his gym.
It feels like a war zone.
That feeling right there, that's hypervigilance. The static is anxiety. It's the nervous system stuck in fight or flight long after the threat is gone. You're walking through a grocery store, but your body is treating it like a minefield.
The lyrics mention voltage in the vein.
Yeah, waiting for the thunderbolt strike, constantly scanning for threats.
There are two details in this track that I thought were just brilliant. First, the SSN captain. In the game, he's seasick, and you have to rub his back.
And Ti-Fi uses that to describe the physical nausea of CPTSD. We think of trauma as mental, but it lives in the gut. Hugging the wall, hiding from the crowd, it grounds the mental anguish in a physical symptom.
And then there's the gym puzzle. You have to dig through these trash cans to find a switch. It's just total trial and error.
The trash can puzzle. The artist compares this to finding the right medication. Is the answer in this bottle? Is it in this pill? No. Try the next one. It's that frustration of digging through garbage to find the switch that finally turns off the electric fences in your brain.
But the reward for all this anxiety is HM01 Cut. For non-gamers, that's a move that lets you chop down little trees that block the road.
It's a utility tool, but Ti-Fi turns it into a survival tactic. Cut becomes about severing toxic ties. Leaving the sex work industry or an abusive dynamic means cutting off access completely.
The lyrics are very direct. Delete the contact, block the phone.
It's a necessary violence. You have to use cut to sever the connections to the people and things that are hurting you. But here's the problem. When you cut everything away, what are you left with?
A lot of empty space.
Exactly. And that vacuum often leads to numbing. Which brings us to the bright lights of Celadon City and the track spin.
Celadon is the big city. The department store and, crucially, the game corner, the casino.
And the game corner represents addiction, escapism. The track is full of the sound of slot machines, spinning the wheels, buying things you don't need. It's all about avoidance. You've cut out the pain, now you're just filling the silence with noise.
But the game forces you to leave the casino. You have to go into the basement to get the silphscope so you can see ghosts.
And this part is reframed beautifully. The silphscope is therapy. It lets you look at the things that are haunting you, the things you've been trying to ignore, and you realize the ghost isn't a demon or a monster.
In the game, it's a Marowak, a mother that died protecting her child.
Right, and here it's a mother's grief, a trauma unresolved. Seeing the ghost for what it is, maybe a lost version of yourself, allows you to put it to rest. It transforms fear into grief, and grief is something you can process.
So once you clear the ghost, you move on to Fuchsia City. The track is 500 steps. This is the safari zone.
Right.
Okay, explain the mechanic here, because the 500 steps thing is key.
Right. So in the safari zone, you pay a fee and you get exactly 500 footsteps to catch rare Pokemon. The second you take that 501st step, a bell dings and you get kicked out. It's a hard limit.
And Ti-Fi relates this to poverty.
To this scarcity mindset. When you're rebuilding your life, new apartment, new job, court dates, you have limited energy, limited resources. You are constantly watching that step counter tick down, terrified you're going to run out of moves before you catch a break.
That adds so much tension. And the gym leader there, Koga, he uses poison.
Poison represents shame. It's a status effect that drains your health slowly over time with every step you take. Toxic, he whispers. You can be walking around looking fine, but inside the poison is just killing you.
But there's a specific item you have to find there. The wardy's gold teeth. He lost them, and he can't speak properly without them.
And Ti-Fi uses this as a metaphor for finding your voice. Gave him back his voice, now I can ask for help. That is the antidote to the shame. Once you can articulate what you need, you can survive the poison.
So we found our voice. Now we need to take back control. We're heading to Saffron City. The track is CEO.
This is the anthem of executive function.
Okay, executive function. That's a buzzword we hear a lot. Break that down for us. What does that actually mean in the context of this game?
Think of it literally as the CEO of your brain. The person at the desk who decides, okay, we're getting out of bed, brushing our teeth, paying this bill. When you go through severe trauma, it's like Team Rocket storms the building and takes that CEO hostage.
So you're on autopilot.
Exactly. There's no one in the big chair giving the orders. So the game's plot climbing all 11 floors of Silphco to save the president is actually a battle for your own brain.
To regain the ability to plan and organize your own life.
Correct. And the lyric is just so empowering. I'm not the secretary. I'm not the prize. I'm the CEO. It's a total rejection of objectification.
And the reward for all that, the Master Ball, which in the game catches any monster without fail.
But here, it's recontextualized not as a tool for catching, but as a symbol of total agency, total control. Catch anything you want, do anything you plan. It means the Team Rocket takeover is over. You're back in charge.
Okay, so we're the CEO now. We have control, but we still have to deal with where we came from. We head to Cinnabar Island for the track mansion.
Cinnabar is interesting because it's a ruin. The Pokemon Mansion is this burned-out building. Inside, you find journals about the experiments that created Mewtwo.
This feels like the origin story part of the album. The music even strips back. It's very grunge, very acoustic.
It is. This is about narrative processing. The survivor is looking back at their history, reading the journals, and realizing that the monster inside them, their trauma response, it wasn't their fault.
The lyrics talk about the genetic experiments. The splicing went wrong.
Right. I was just a kid who didn't belong. It's an acknowledgement that they were put in a cruel environment, a system that broke them. It wasn't a personal failure. It was a biological fact of how they were treated.
They were made into a weapon by someone else. And they're burned it down.
Metaphorically, yeah. Blaine is the fire-type leader. You use the burn heal. You acknowledge the wreckage, take the badge, and walk away. You don't live in that mansion anymore.
Which leads us to the final showdown. 7 badges down, 1 to go, and the game sends you all the way back to the beginning. Viridian City. The track is the boss.
This is the twist that ties the entire concept album together. Throughout the game, the leader of the Viridian Gym is a mystery. When you finally get inside, it's revealed to be Giovanni, the head of Team Rocket.
The bad guy was the gym leader all along.
But Ti-Fi takes it a step further. The final boss isn't the external abuser. It isn't the person who assaulted you. The final boss is the shadow self.
The shadow self.
It's the part of you that internalized all the abuse. And crucially, it's the part of you that built Team Rocket. All those walls, that aggression, those defenses to survive. The lyrics say, it wasn't a stranger. It was the voice in my head.
That is a tough pill to swallow. So how do you beat him? You just destroy him.
No, that's the key. You don't destroy him. You integrate him. The battle isn't about killing Giovanni. It's about getting him to stand down.
I disband the team. I retire the crime.
That line is about forgiving your survival self. You look at that angry, defensive part of you, the part that kept you alive, and you say, thank you. You did your job. But the war is over. You shake your own hand.
And the badge you earn is the Earth badge.
Which represents being grounded. The ground is solid beneath my feet. You aren't floating in dissociation anymore. You're not spinning in addiction. You are here. You're solid, present.
Wow. It's quite a journey from a gray screen in Pallet Town to standing on solid ground in Viridian.
It is. And the album ends on a very important note. The game doesn't end when you get all the badges.
Right. You still have Victory Road. You still have the Elite Four.
Exactly. Recovery doesn't have a game over screen where everything is perfect. The road to the league is open, the challenge continues. But the difference is now you have the tools. You have the Earth badge. You have the Master Ball.
And you have your trainer ID.
Which Ti-Fi calls proof of existence. Proof that you went through the whole map and came out the other side.
It's incredible how a game about catching monsters can become such a perfect framework for facing your own. It really makes you rethink that nostalgia. It's not just about going back. It's about understanding.
That's the power of metaphor. It gives us a handle on things that are too slippery to hold directly. By filtering this through an 8-bit lens, Ti-Fi makes it something you can process level by level.
So for everyone listening, whether you're a Pokemon master or you've never touched a Game Boy, I think there's something in this for you. We all have our pallet towns, and we all have our own grinding to do in the Safari Zone.
And we all have a shadow self waiting in that final gym.
Absolutely. So as you go about your week, maybe think about what badges you've earned that no one else can see. What unseen victories have you leveled up from? Because even if the simulation feels glitchy, you've still got the controller.
Press start.
Thanks for diving in with us. We'll see you on the next level.